Italy is truly a very important part of our wine list. We are currently strongly represented with Tuscany, Piedmont, Veneto, Sicily, Friuli, Alta Adige, and Puglia. In terms of sales, Super Tuscany, Quality Primitivo, Vermentina from different regions of Italy, and of course Prosecco show very strong results. These are styles that are very well received by guests across different concepts. At the same time, we see that the audience is becoming more open to new regions and styles, especially when the guest receives a good recommendation and starts trusting the sommelier. Because of this, wine from Umbria, Marche, Campania, Sardinia are developing well.
Welcome to Asia Wine Market Almaty Special Edition with me, your host Roza. In this special series, we're exploring the growing wine culture of Kazakhstan with Almaty at the heart of it all. Each episode will meet with Italian wine professionals, importers, somms, and producers who are shaping the future of wine in Central Asia. Whether you're a winery looking to expand into new markets or a local expert curious about the market dynamics, you are in the right place. Hello everyone and welcome to Asia Wine Market Almaty Special Edition. Today we're very happy to welcome Igor Baranov. Igor is the head sommelier of SunGroup projects in Almaty. SunGroup is a restaurant group that is comprised of 13 different establishments operating in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Azerbaijan. Igor is also a winner of the Best Sommelier of the Great Steppe competition, the competition that brings together the wine professionals from all over Central Asia and also Azerbaijan. Okay, so Igor, we're very, very excited to welcome you here today.
Thank you, Rosa. I am happy to be on your podcast. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, you're welcome. So, you mentioned before that you used to be a bartender. So, before we dive into our main topic of today's conversation about SunGroup and about the market itself, please tell us, how did a bartender become one of the leading somms in Kazakhstan's restaurant scene?
Actually, my journey started with hospitality and service. Before wine, I worked as a bartender for many years. And this gave me a very important understanding of guest restaurant atmosphere and how a drink influences the overall experience of a person. Over time, I became more interested in gastronomy, beverage culture, and the philosophy of service. Wine became a natural continuation of this path. I started with WSET Level 2, then completed WSET Level 3 and the C Certification 2. At the same time, I started actively participating in competition and professional events. Today, I am semifinalist of the Kazakhstan National Sommelier Competition and Vinitaly competition, winner of the Best Sommelier of Great Steppe and teacher at School Sommelier Iwine. I regularly attend international competition, tasting, professional events, and presentation. I am also actively involved in the Best Sommelier of Great Steppe project. In the past, I won this competition, and now, together with the team, we continue developing it and is gradually expanding beyond Central Asia and moving toward an international level. For me, this is a very valuable experience because it allows me to see how the hospitality and sommelier industry works in other countries, get to know new approaches, and bring this experience into some group project.
Well, yes, that's true. And for how many years is the competition being run? The best sommelier of the Great Steppe.
In 2025.
Okay, so the first time it started in 2025.
Or maybe 2024. I forgot.
Okay, the main thing in 2025, you won yourself. That is why you remember. Okay, got it. Thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. So, for today, our key learning objectives. First of all, we are going to understand Sun Group's market position. we are going to learn how SunGroup influences Almaty's dining scene through service and curated wine lists. Number two, we're going to see how Italian wine is performing in the restaurant setting, and we're going to identify which Italian regions and styles are currently dominating in the sales in SunGroup's diverse restaurant portfolio. And third, we will try to make a market forecasting. So we are going to identify high potential Italian grape varieties and styles that has a good potential to grow in the Kazakh market. So let's dive in. First of all, as we already said, SunGroup is a group of restaurants operating in 3 different countries, and it's known for its interesting design, strong social atmosphere. And can you give us an overview of the group's philosophy and explain what role wine plays within those restaurants?
Mhm. For some group, it's very important to create not just restaurant, but full concept spaces with their own character, atmosphere, and emotional experience for a guest. That's why the group has such different projects, from izakaya concept to Queen Mountain Resort. Inside the team, there is a huge level of awareness, love for gastronomy, and a constant desire to create something new. That's why our menu are always very diverse, lively, and at the same time their own identity. At the same time, for us, it's very important to every concept respect the local culture and the country where it's located. For example, even in a seafood concept, we still include local product or another dishes inspired by local gastronomy. It's a way for us to show respect to the culture, people, and tradition of country. We also pay a lot of attention to decision and details. For us, interior is not just decoration, but part of storytelling and guest experience. We are very proud that in many projects we work with local craftsmen. For example, tableware is made by local potters, and furniture elements are woven by local artisans. Yes, it's more difficult and often more expensive, but these details create a unique character of the project. Wine plays a very important role in this system. We don't see the wine list as a just list of items. I should support the atmosphere of the restaurant and gastronomy and the guest mood. In some places, the focus is on big gastronomic wines and collectible bottles, and in our on lightness, freshness, and easy food-friendly style.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. So, as we already mentioned, the group operates not only in Kazakhstan, not only in Almaty, but also in Astana, but also in Tashkent, which is in Uzbekistan, and Baku, Azerbaijan. So, how does the group adapt to different markets regarding the style of the restaurants, but also the wines, as an example?
In fact, because some group is developing in Central Asia and operates in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Azerbaijan, we have a very strong culture and gastronomic exchange. It's a great experience for the whole team because we constantly meet new winemakers, farmers, local producers, and gastronomic tradition. For us, it's very important not just to open a restaurant in a new country, but to integrate local culture into the concept itself. For example, in the Yurta restaurant, there is a gastronomic festival called Taste of Silk Road. This is a project dedicated to the culture of Silk Road, where every month we introduce guests to a new country through gastronomy, local product, special menu, drink, and wine culture. One month can be dedicated to Uzbekistan, another to Azerbaijan, or other countries of the region. We invited chefs, introduced local flavors, and created a full cultural experience. That's why in our wine list we always include not only classical global region, but also wines from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Azerbaijan. We consider it very important to support local winemaking and show guests to potential of this country. The same applies to our bar culture. We actively work with local herbs and ingredients. For example, we use a rotor evaporator and create aroma of steps, middle herbs and botanical collected by hands. For us, it's a way to express the taste of the place and make the experience more unique.
Okay, that's interesting too. And I've been to Yurta, to that restaurant, and I think the whole setting is beautiful. It gives this sense of, in a way, like luxury hospitality. There are many elements in the decorations and in the interior. So we're gonna talk about the wine list that you make a bit later, but before we move on to the wine list, could you please tell us, as the head sommelier of the restaurants here in Almaty, when you train the staff, when you train the sommelier team, what kind of standards or principles do you insist on to make sure that the wine experience in those restaurants matches the level of the restaurant setting, this like luxury setting, let's say?
For me, it's very important that a sommelier understand good wine service is not just technical knowledge of service wine. First of all, it's about creating the right emotion, atmosphere, and comfortable for a guest. That's why I spend a lot of time to education, both my own and the team's development. Wine is a field where you can never stop developing. I constantly attend international competition, professional events, tasting and presentation. For me, it's a way to keep learning, exchange experience, and bring new idea into SunGroup project. Our team is also actively invited to guest events, presentation, and professional wine events, and we try to attend them together. This helps us broaden our knowledges and maintain a high service level inside the group. We have regular trainings both monthly and daily before service, especially before launching new project or seasonal menu. Wine culture is endless and there is always something new to learn. We work very closely with chefs because wine pairing is a very important part of the guest experience for us. The same dish can reveal itself completely differently with different wines, and wine also change depending on food pairing. That's why we constantly test combination and create new flavor experience. For example, we have our own cheese production called by Mountain Brie, located at Queen Mountain Resort. In all our restaurant, guests can try cheese made from local product, and it's very important for us to match each cheese with a specific wine style to show a complete gastronomic pairing and highlight the product in the best way. Of course, standards are also extremely important. Serving temperature, glassware, decanting, wine knowledges, gastronomy understanding, and guest communication.
Hmm. Thank you so much. And also, you've been talking about the international events and competitions. I was just looking if I can see your name among the semi-finalists of the Italian Sommelier Challenge. Did you participate this year?
In this year,
Yes.
I think I need a little bit break.
Okay, got it. So you didn't participate this year. Okay, I see. Right now, let's move to Italian wine specifically. Italian wine, as we all know, is a cornerstone of many wine lists in Kazakhstan and also worldwide. So, which Italian regions do you currently represent in the restaurants, and which perform best across Sun Group venues in terms of sales volume?
Italy is truly a very important part of our wine list. We are currently strongly represented with Tuscany, Piedmont, Veneto, Sicily, Friuli, Alta Adige, and Puglia. In terms of sales, Super Tuscany, Quality Primitiva, Vermentina from different regions of Italy, and of course Prosecco show very strong results. These are styles that are very well received by guests across different concepts. At the same time, we see that the audience is becoming more open to new regions and styles, especially when the guest receives a good recommendation and starts trusting the sommelier. Because of this, wine from Umbria, Marche, Campania, Sardinia are developing well.
Oh, that's great. So, besides the regions that we kind of got used to hear about, like Veneto, Tuscany, there is also a room for wines from Sardinia, from Marche, from Umbria. I think that's a good news for many Italian wine producers. And are certain restaurants within the group especially strong performers for Italian wine? So, among the restaurants that are located in Almaty, which restaurants are stronger in Italian wine?
Mm, Actually, Italian wine is among the top sellers in almost all our projects. But different styles work depending on the restaurant concept and atmosphere. For example, if we take mountain project, especially in summer, sparkling wine, prosecco, light white wines, Sauvignon Blanc, Gavi, Chardonnay, and Pinot Grigio take the majority of sales. If the project is more focused on meat and gastronomy, then red wines prefer much stronger Tuscany, Piedmont, Sicily, and more structured gastronomic styles.
Okay, that's great. Again, that's great to hear. And like, what about some of the trends? Right now, we're seeing a shift in some trends towards specific styles. So you already mentioned some of the styles that work quite well, such as Tuscany, Veneto, or even Friuli. But you also mentioned some of the other regions. So do you see a growing interest in this maybe a bit niche Italian styles, like such as Etna wines, for example? Or again, white wines from Friuli, which are maybe less known but still becoming more popular globally.
Classic Italian region are still leaders because for many guests, Italian is association with Tuscany, Piedmont, and Amarone. But at the same time, we clearly see growing interest in more niche style. Especially younger audience respond well to ethno wines, Nerolo Mascalese, Caricante, wines from Friuli, Alta Adige, and Sardinia. Today, guests are much more open to trying new things, especially when there is the right recommendation and interesting story behind the wine.
Okay, that's great to hear that, especially among younger drinkers, some other region are gaining more popularity. Okay, and about the restaurants again. So, how does the concept of each restaurant within Sun Group shape the type of Italian wines guests order? So, again, the venues that you have in Almaty, they differ from one another. For example, Yurta is more like a neo nomadic style of restaurant. Then izakaya is like Japanese style restaurant, right? There is a project called Quinn, which is more, I don't know, dynamic. It's more like a bar setting. So, how does this influence the choice of the wines that guests order? Like, for example, do guests in high energy venues such as Queen choose differently compared to guests in more classic fine dine setting?
The concept of a restaurant directly influences wine conception style. In lively and energetic concept, guests usually choose Prosecco, light white wines, Sauvignon Blanc, Vermentina, and more fresh, easy drinking style. Atmosphere communication and easy of experience are very important there. In more gastronomic project, guests spend more time at dinner and more often choose Tuscany, Barolo, Brunello, Etna Rossa, and more complex wine that work well with the food pairing.
Okay, got it. That was quite an expected answer, I guess. Okay, what about some of the trends again? Looking at the market dynamics last year's and also this year, which underrated, in your opinion, Italian grape varieties or regions do you believe have the biggest growth potential in Kazakhstan? Maybe they're not quite popular yet, but you're seeing a very good potential in them.
I think there is very strong potential for Etna DOC, Nerolo Mascalese, Caricante, Frappato, Pecorino, Verdicchio, as well as Sardinia and Abruzzo. Today, the market is becoming more focused on balance, gastronomy, and elegance in wine. Guests are more and more looking for fresh style with good acidity that are easy to drink and work well with food. Especially younger audience respond well to this style because they travel more and more and exposed to global gastronomy culture.
Okay, that's also great to hear. So you mentioned some of the high acid, some lighter and fresher styles, and also some wines that we call chillable reds, like Frappato, like Schiava is an example. And what about some other trends like no alcohol or low alcohol wines? Are they growing?
Yes, this trend is already very visible, especially in Almaty. Guests are looking for lighter, fresher, more gastronomic wines with good acidity and less heaviness. We see growing interest in Frappato, Schiava, Sauvignon Blanc from Friuli, Vermentina, and other light style at work both in gastronomy and aperitivo culture. As for the Nola segment, this trend is becoming more and more visible every year. People are choosing non alcoholic alternatives, including non alcoholic wine. The segment is still not very large, but the growth is clearly noticeable.
Hmm. Okay, got it. So the trends they're working everywhere else, inevitably, sooner or later, they're going to come in our market as well, including the no alcohol or low alcohol wines. Okay, so on June 29th in Almaty, there will be Vinitaly Kazakhstan Roadshow. So that is why I need you to give an advice for the wine producers who might be coming to visit during that period. So if an Italian winery wanted to enter the Almaty market today or Kazakhstan in general, what wine style would you recommend them to focus on to connect with consumers in Kazakhstan?
I think today it's very important not only to offer good wine, but also storytelling and lifestyle around the product. The younger generation wants to understand the philosophy of brands, the origin of wines, and the gastronomic idea. In terms of style, I would recommend focusing on Etna Rossa, Etna Bianca, fresh wine from southern Italy, wines from Marche and Friuli, as well as lighter elegance red style. It's very important that the wine is made in a modern and understandable and gastronomic style. And of course, I think it's very important today for producers to have good non-alcoholic wine in their portfolio because this segment is growing strongly. Also, it's very important to actively work with Horeca Sommelier and gastronomic project because restaurants play a key role in shaping wine culture.
Mhm. Well, yes, that's true. I totally agree here with you. All of the players in this chain, both like the wine producers, the importers, and also the on-premise, the horeca sector, they have to work together. And also the wine schools, the sommelier associations, and so on. All of these players, they are a part of one ecosystem that works together, and all of these players should get an advantage for themselves, should earn money, but also should help each other, should think about other players too. Okay, again, thank you so much for all of your insights for today. Before we wind down, we usually ask the 3 rapid fire questions from our guests. If you can answer with a short answer, that would be great. If your answer is longer, that's okay too. So, number 1, which Italian grape variety or wine style would you love to see more in Kazakhstan market?
Nerolo Mascalese, Caricante, and Verdicchio. I think these varieties have huge potential for our market.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. And I think Svetlana Khaninaeva, she also mentioned Etna wines. So she said those are the wines that have a good potential. So I hope that more producers from Etna would be entering the market, and importers also would discover more wines from Etna and would bring more producers from there. Okay, so number 2, what's one Italian wine every consumer should try at least once, in your opinion?
I think it's a good Barolo. It shows very well the depth and the philosophy of Italian winemaking.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, right. And it would be good to try different vintages of the same wine, right? Maybe some of the recent vintage and the old vintage of the same wine. That would be a wonderful comparison for the people. And people would understand why actually Barolo is regarded so highly and how wine can change. Okay, thank you. And the last one. This is also a very practical one. Can you name your favorite place in Almaty for wine or even for cocktails or hospitality atmosphere in general?
If we talk about wine and gastronomy, I really like our new project U22, where the pairing concept works very well, and there is always something new and interesting to try. I also really like Agora and them, place where you can spend a good time and try many interesting wine. If we talk about cocktail culture, I really like speakeasy bars where you can spend time in a calm atmosphere. And in general, I really like trying something new and unusual. So I would definitely visit our project Yurta. There are many handmade drinks, unusual cocktails, and really interesting wow presentation. That make the experience very memorable.
Yes, you're right. And also another thing about Yurta, it has this selection of horse milk, different types of horse milk from different regions, right?
Yes, we have 12 type of kumis.
Okay. That's also something to discover for foreigners, especially, but also for local people, because I don't know where else you can try that big selection of kumis. Okay, again, thank you so much for all of your insights and for some of your practical tips and recommendations. And if someone wants to connect with you, how can they do that? What is the best way? Instagram, LinkedIn?
I think Instagram is the best way to connect with me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. We are going to put the link to your Instagram in the show notes to this episode so people can find them. Again, thank you so much for a wonderful interview. It's a beautiful day in Almaty. So have a nice day and thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you for inviting. Have a nice day too.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on Asia Wine Market. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with your fellow wine professionals wherever you get your pods. To stay updated on upcoming wine events, market insights, visit ItalianWinePodcast.com. Catch you in the next episode. And until then, cheers from Asia.